Have you ever felt like the more you think, the less you want to be around people? You watch others effortlessly connect, jump from conversation to conversation, thrive in social settings. And yet, for you, something feels off. Socializing isn't fulfilling, it's exhausting. Conversations feel predictable, small talk feels pointless. It's like everyone else is playing a game you don't even want to participate in. If you've ever felt this way, you're not alone. High IQ individuals throughout history have often been detached from social life. Nikola Tesla, alone in his lab, obsessed with his work. Isaac Newton, avoiding relationships, consumed by thought. Arthur Schopenhauer, convinced that solitude was the price of intelligence. But why? Is it arrogance? Social anxiety? Or is there a deeper reason why high IQ people don't care about social life? This is not just about introversion. It's about seeing the world differently, perceiving patterns, questioning everything, and feeling disconnected from the conversations most people find engaging. So, is high IQ a curse that leads to isolation? Or is avoiding social life actually a rational choice? By the end of this video, you'll understand why the world of social interaction feels so foreign to you, and what that means for your life. Most people assume that being highly intelligent makes life easier, but if you have a high IQ, you know the truth. It often makes life more complicated, especially when it comes to socializing. Here's the reality. High IQ individuals process information faster and in greater depth than the average person. While others are content with surface-level conversations, you're analyzing patterns, inconsistencies, and deeper meanings, all in real time. You don't just listen to what people say, you notice the contradictions, the empty cliches, the unconscious biases they don't even realize they have. This is why social interaction can feel so exhausting. While most people simply go with the flow of a conversation, your brain is working overtime, dissecting everything. And that's where the disconnect happens. Studies have shown that high IQ individuals tend to have lower social motivation, not because they lack social skills, but because they find little reward in shallow interactions. Imagine playing chess, but every time you sit down, your opponent just moves pieces randomly. Would you find that game enjoyable? Of course not. That's what small talk feels like to you. And then there's the frustration of predictability. Social interactions often follow the same patterns, repeating the same jokes, the same conversations, the same behaviors. You've seen it all before. You know where the conversation is going before it even starts. And after a while, you just stop caring. So is it any surprise that many high IQ people prefer to be alone? But here's the twist. This isn't a weakness, it's a natural consequence of how your mind works. Society may glorify extroversion, but that doesn't mean constant socializing is valuable. In fact, the very idea that social life is necessary might just be one of the biggest illusions of modern society, and that's what we're going to break down next. Society pushes a simple message. Socializing is the key to happiness. We're told that having a lot of friends means you're successful, that being alone means something is wrong with you. But what if that's not true? High IQ individuals experience something most people never will, the paradox of connection. On one hand, you might want meaningful interactions, deep conversations, thought-provoking discussions. But on the other hand, you quickly realize that most people don't think like you do. They're not interested in deep analysis, philosophical debates, or questioning reality. They just want to talk about sports, gossip, trends, things that feel meaningless to you. And here's where the paradox happens. You crave connection, but the moment you engage, you feel disconnected, like you're playing a role instead of being yourself. Philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer believed that solitude was the price of intelligence. He argued that the more a person understands reality, the harder it becomes to relate to others. Because most people don't want the truth, they want comfort. And that's the core issue. High IQ individuals don't just think differently, they see deeper truths. Truths that most people avoid, truths that make certain social interactions feel fake, repetitive, and draining. Does this mean high IQ people are doomed to be alone? Not necessarily, but it does explain why so many of them prefer solitude over superficial socializing. The question is, if society is so obsessed with social life, but high IQ individuals often reject it, who's actually seeing reality more clearly? Humans evolved to be social creatures. In prehistoric times, survival depended on belonging to a tribe. Being alone meant danger, starvation, predators, death. That's why most people today still feel an instinctive need to fit in, to be liked, to be accepted. But high IQ individuals, they don't follow instinct, they follow logic. And logically, much of social life doesn't make sense. Think about it. Most social interactions aren't about genuine connection. They're about status, dominance, and tribal signaling. People align with groups, adopt popular opinions, and engage in meaningless small talk not because they truly care, but because it's what keeps them accepted in the social hierarchy. If you have a high IQ, you probably see right through this. You're not interested in fake smiles, forced conversations, or playing along with unwritten social rules. And because of that, you naturally disconnect from environments where conformity is expected. This is why so many high IQ individuals feel like outsiders. Not because they lack social skills, but because they refuse to lie to themselves just to fit in. The world expects you to prioritize relationships, to value social life above all else. But what if high IQ people simply evolved beyond that? What if they realized that solitude isn't a weakness, it's freedom? But here's the real challenge. Living outside the tribe comes with consequences, and that's what we need to talk about next. Here's the brutal truth. Society doesn't reward intelligence. It rewards social intelligence. Look around. The most popular people aren't the smartest. They're the ones who know how to navigate the social game, how to say the right things, when to fake confidence, how to manipulate emotions to gain influence. Meanwhile, high IQ individuals struggle with this game, not because they can't play it, but because they see how fake it is. Have you ever watched people gossip, brag about meaningless achievements, or blindly follow trends and felt nothing but exhaustion? That's because social life often revolves around superficial validation. High IQ individuals don't chase approval. They don't feel the same dopamine rush from social acceptance, and that makes them stand out. This creates a dilemma. If you play the social game, you feel like a fraud. If you reject it, you risk isolation. And this is why so many high IQ people struggle socially. Not because they can't make friends, but because they won't compromise their authenticity just to be accepted. But here's the real question. Does rejecting social life actually make you happier? Or does it come with a hidden cost? Because while solitude may feel like freedom, too much of it can become a prison. Solitude is powerful, but it's also dangerous. Many high IQ individuals embrace isolation because it feels like freedom. No distractions, no pointless conversations, no need to conform. But over time, this solitude can turn into something else. Alienation. Here's what happens. The longer you stay disconnected from people, the more you start seeing society as a foreign world. One that you no longer understand and that no longer understands you. You develop your own thoughts, your own way of seeing reality, and eventually you realize you can't relate to anyone anymore. This is where the danger lies. While social life can be shallow, it also serves a biological function. Studies show that human connection is crucial for mental health. Even high IQ individuals, despite their independence, still need some form of interaction to stay psychologically balanced. Schopenhauer warned about this. He believed that the more intelligent a person is, the lonelier they become. But he also acknowledged that absolute isolation leads to suffering. So here's the real challenge: finding a balance. Rejecting meaningless social life doesn't mean rejecting all human connection. The key is to surround yourself with a select few, people who challenge your mind, who see the world like you do, who don't drain your energy. Because if you don't, isolation won't just be a choice, it'll become a trap. But how do you escape this trap without sacrificing who you are?